What's going on, guys? Just got here to Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. We're gonna be playing a home game. 1-3 stakes, so not your usual home game stakes. Just gonna be playing with some of my friends that went to lacrosse and some other people. So it should be some good action. Hopefully you like the last home game. Some of the same players will be in it. And I'm gonna be buying it for 300, 100 big blinds, nothing crazy. And let's get into the action. This is the setting as we're starting off. The chip denominations on the top of it. The whites are $1. Those orange are $5. And there's some green chips in play, which are $25. In the first hand of the night, we looked on a queen jack offsuit on the button. It's folded all the way to us, so we're going to open the action up to $10. And only the small blind makes the call, so we're going to go heads up to a very nice flop. Ace, queen, queen. When the small blind checks, like we do with most of our holdings, these high cards are going to hit us a lot of the time, so we decide to keep the pot building, the bet of $10, and he pretty quickly makes the call. Going to the turn, which is an interesting card, the 10 of diamonds. He could have connected with this in a lot of ways. I don't think he's going to have a straight a lot of the time, as I block king jack. But when he checks, I'm going to get tricky and check back. Now the river comes the 8 of clubs. Once again, I guess jack 9 got there, but we block that having the jack. So when he checks, we want to go polar, and we overbet to $50. After some deliberation, he ends up folding. I think he thought we were bluffing, but no, we had it, and we'll take the first pot. In this next hand, you already see a lot of money out there already. We have the best hand in poker, pocket aces. We opened the action up to $20 as there was a straddled pot. And the cutoff, this button directly to my left made the call, and I'm in the cutoff. The small blind decided to 4-bet to 110, and when it folds back around to me, I decide to shove with about 260 total in my stack, 300-ish. And the button's going to tank for a little bit, but ultimately gets out of the way. The small blind makes the pretty quick call. And we're in the dream scenario when the small blind says he has pocket kings. But before I knew that, he asked me if I wanted to run it once or twice, and we're doing a friendly game, so I say twice. And we're going to head to 2 runouts against pocket kings. And here it is.
Boom. Keep him. No ace.
That's right, he hit the king on the second board, and we're going to chop that pot up. From one premium to the next, pocket queens. We're playing 6-handed, so I'm in under the gun, and I'm going to open up to 12. The hijack directly to my left is going to fold, and then the cutoff is going to make the call. Button folds, small blind and big blind complete as well. So we're going 4 ways to a flop, and that's a decent flop for my range. 3-7 king rainbow. When the small blind and big blind check to me, I'm going to bet here like I will with most of my hands, and I make it 15. As it's such a dry board, I don't need to bet too large to get folds. When the cutoff makes the call, putting him on some pocket pairs or potentially a weak king, small blind calls, and the big blind calls. So still 4 ways to a turn. Not ideal. And when the 4 of spades rolls off, not a card that I'm going to be hitting a lot. When the small blind checks, the big blind actually leads out now for $20. This is an interesting spot, as I think he's setting his price with a weak king, and I'm looking to steal it on later streets. So I make the call, and the cutoff makes the call too. Small blind is wise, and he's going to get out of the way. So still 3 ways to the river. Maybe hoping to hit that queen, but no. It's the ace of clubs. An interesting card at that. I look at the big blind, and he's debating a bet, but he ultimately checks over to me. Now seeing as there's been some weak action in this pot, and there's a lot of money in the middle, I'm going to have the most of the ace kings. I decide to put out a bluff of $90. Repping this ace, hoping they'll give me some credit. And after a little bit, The cutoff says he has a king, but he hates that the other opponent's behind him, and he makes the fold. So, of course, we're going to show our pocket queens that we bluff them, and we take it down. In this next hand, we look down at 9-10 of clubs. We're in under the gun position. I opened to $12. It folds all the way around to the big blind, who's going to make the call. So we're going heads up with these nice suited connectors, some of my favorite cards. And we see a flop, 3-6 king with 2 diamonds. This is a board that we're going to hit more than our opponent, so when he checks, I do my standard c-bet, down bet to $10, and he makes the call. So now we're headed to the turn, which is the 9 of spades, gives us a pair, which is a great card for us. Interestingly enough though, our opponent decides to check his cards and leads out on this turn. I think this might be a flush draw, setting his own price. That's not going with me. With my pair, I'm going to represent having a king. I'm going to go ahead and bump it on up to $40. Honestly, a little unorthodox play on my part, but I think he's on a flush draw, and after a little bit, he's going to make the fold. So I think we had a good read, and I think we had the best hand, so we'll take down a small one. In this next hand, we have pocket tens in the cutoff, and we see an open from the hijack to $15 with a medium premium pocket pair. I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet. I make it 45. Pretty standard, 3x open. And now the button is going to cold call this raise, which is pretty interesting. It's going to fold back around to that hijack player, and he's going to make the call. So we're going 3 ways to a flop, and we see a pretty decent flop for pocket tens. 6-5-9. While these are the lower cards that my opponents will have a lot of the time, I think the hijack's going to have 2 overs with his opening. So when he checks, having an overpair, it's hard to flop an overpair. I'm going to keep betting, and I decide to bet $60. Sizing up a little bit as there is a spade draw and some straight draws that my opponents can have. After a little bit, the button is going to make the fold, so that's who I was most concerned about, having the 2 pairs in the sets. Interestingly enough though, the hijack player is going to make the call. So with not much behind actually after this $60 bet, probably about $20, jamming any turn, even if it's an overcard, hopefully he doesn't have that overcard with the flush draw. It's the king of clubs. When he checks, we move all in for his $21 behind. He pretty quickly makes the call. And we're happy to see that he had top pair on the flop with a 9. And he has that gutter to the 7 with 9-8, but he misses, and we take it down. In the next hand, you see we open to $12 with ace deuce of diamonds. It's folded back around to the big blind, who's going to be the only caller. So we're going heads up to a flop. We see a nice flop without directly hitting it. 4-8-7. While this is a board that he's going to have more strong hands on, I have the overpairs. So when he checks, I bet 15, and he makes the call. So not getting too strong of a read off my opponent. And the turn is the jack of hearts, and he checks again. Another card that I'm going to be hitting a lot of the time, while I still have those overpairs. And I do have that nut flush, so I'm going to keep betting. I make it $40. Standard continuation, I think. And once again, he's going to go ahead and make the call. So, not sure what types of holding he has. Maybe a pair plus straight draw. On the river comes the 6 of clubs. Pretty terrible card, to be honest. When he makes the check, there is a one-liner to a 5, but how often am I going to have a 5 here? And I actually cut out $80 in chips, and my opponent puts $80 in his hand like he's going to make a snap call. So he gets the better of me, and I check back, and he shows ace 7 offsuit. So I asked if he would have folded if I bet, and he says he was snap calling. So I guess I saved $80 there, and we lose that one. It's not a home game without a little mid-game pizza party. Here's our current stack. We're sitting at about 560, but we're going for our friend's stack, Sean, right there. He has like $1,000 stack in a 1-3 game. And here's our opponents we're playing against. We have about 8 people, so 8-handed. In the next hand of the night, we're on the cutoff with 5-8 of hearts. It's a straddled pot, and then it's reopened from the straddler to $15, so not a huge raise. I'm going to go ahead and make the call along with the under the gun 1 as well. So we're going 3 ways to a flop. Deuce 3-7 with 2 hearts. When the straddler and under the gun 1 decide to check to me, this board hits my range and I smash it in general. So I'm going to go ahead and bet $25. Small blind, or the straddle makes the call, under the gun 1 folds. Heads up to the turn. Jack of hearts. We turn our flush. My opponent decides to check it over to me. Going for value now. Let me make sure I have that flush. Yes, we do. Hoping he has an overpair with a heart. We're going to charge that hand. We make it $80. After a little bit, our opponent is going to make the call. He's a non-believer of what we're representing. King of clubs on the river. Pretty big brick. He shouldn't have many flush combinations, so I think we're going to go for value again. When he checks it over to me, we decide to bet $100. A little weird sizing, but after a little bit, he makes the call, and we win it. He flips over the jack, so that was the money turn for us, and we got paid. We take it down with our turned flush. In this next hand, we're in the big blind, looking down at pocket jacks. It's open from under the gun 1 to $15. It's going to fold around to the cutoff, who makes the call. The button makes the call. Small blind folds. And I decide to 3-bet up to $90. I don't want this many opponents in the hand. The original aggressor is going to get out of the way. Cutoff as well. But me and the button decide to make a deal. My buddy Jack. He puts in the 90 and we decide to check it down. So, assuming I'm way ahead here, hoping to fade over cards. And we see the run out. We see that ace, our heart sinks, as he likely has that ace with something else, and he does. Ace deuce of clubs, so we misplayed pocket jacks and lost this pot, but I'm happy to gamble with my buddy. Moving right along, we decided to do a double board PLO bomb pot. Everyone puts in $5, so there's already $40 in the middle playing 8-handed. And we see some decent flops. King 9 deuce and King Jack 7. So we have a straight draw on one board and top pair, top kicker on the next. Not the greatest hand having one pair on both boards, but we're here to splash it up. So when the middle position bets $20, we can't be going anywhere. We have some powerful backdoor opportunities. Small blind makes the call. Everyone else gets out of the way. So going 3 ways to the turn now. $100 in the pot. We see some okay turns. Jack of diamonds and the 7 of diamonds. So we still just have one pair on both boards with the best kicker. But for some reason, I still wanted to stick around. So when the middle position bets 25, I can't be going anywhere. There's just so much in the pot already. And the small blind makes the call as well. So 3 ways. The nice sized pot going to the river, which is the ace of diamonds in the top and the queen of clubs. So we turn top 2 on both. When both opponents check to me, I want to either get one person out of there with a chop, so we're not 3-way chopping, but the small blind calls and the middle position does as well. Luckily, we chop it though with ace king. We scoop the top board, and Mitch in the small blind scoops the bottom with ace 10. My other opponent had king jack, so we needed both of those rivers to help get us half that pot, and we do. So on to the next hand. In this next hand, we're in the cutoff with queen jack offsuit. Under the gun 1 and jack decided to limp. I'm going to go with my standard $15 open. Button folds, small blind, Sean calls. And that limper is going to make the call as well. So we're going to go 3 ways to a flop of 7, 10, 9, all hearts. So we got that open-ended straight draw with that gutter to the straight flush. Interestingly enough, though, when the small blind checks, that limper is going to lead out for $20. I'm indifferent. We could be raising, but this is super strong. He could have a flop flush. I don't want to over rep my hand. I make the call. Small blind gets out of the way. So we're going heads up to the turn, which is seemingly a brick, the 4 of clubs. Wish it was an overcard so I could rep it. But when he bets 25, can't be going anywhere once again. I got that open ender and that jack high flush draw. So I'm going to make the call. Now we hit the river. King of hearts. I wish we had jack queen of hearts so we could have hit that straight flush. But when he leads out for $40 now, I think this is where I butchered the hand because I raised to 100. I think I should have been raising the turn because now with 1 heart out there, it's easy for him to get away from. And in the end, he ends up folding 2 pair. He says he flopped 2 pair, so good fold jack, and we're going to take this hand down with our rivered flush. In the last hand of the night, we decided to change angle of our filming. Looked down at pocket 10s in the cutoff. We decided to open up to 15. And when it's folded back around to a limper, Brent, he was in previous vlogs. He's going to go ahead and shove all in for about $90, $100 range. I debate for a little bit. As a limp shove is never a bluff, but what are we going to do with pocket 10s? We can't be going anywhere, so we're going to stick in the call. And we see that we're in a flip situation. We're up against ace king of spades, so we're going to need to fade some overs in this $200 pot. And here's the run out.
Yeah, banks level up.
Six of spades.
Runner, deuce 3.
And we hold. In this last hand, we decided if everyone puts in $30 and we're going to do a flip
Keep it clean, Mike. Keep it clean, Mike.
with a chance to win about $200. We hit a pair of 7s, and my friend turns the club flush with the 8 of clubs. So he's going to go ahead and take it down, and that's going to end a fun night of poker. Here's our final stack. Here's everyone cashing out, and wow, you can't complain about a pile of cash being pushed our way. Just got done with that session. We cashed nice. I think that was pretty easy. We weren't put in some tough spots, you know. Had some come-ups.
We cash nicer.
Jack, yes! Come on, Jack. Yes. Jeffrey right there. He did all right, but he was short stack. Yeah, he donated. He had a good time. But you'll see the numbers right here. In for 3. Out for a decent amount. And you'll see some more videos in the near future. Let me know on any spots you guys think I could have played different, and we'll see you in the next one. We decided to spend the night out in Madison after the home game and spend a little bit of our funds.